What's the dumbest mistake you've seen an incompetent co-worker make? Working in pharmacy, a pharmacist gave a customer a flu shot and threw the used syringe in the container with the new syringes instead of the container to dispose them. Another pharmacist went to grab a new syringe later on and ended up getting stabbed with the used syringe. Caused a total shitstorm. A fuck up like this can literally kill someone. Yet the pharmacist that got stuck was fine luckily, but God knows what she could have contracted. Took the wrong coffin to a funeral. Someone else had to drive to the cemetery with the correct deceased on board, and thankfully they made it before the viewing. You absolutely sure this isn't the guy? Absolutely. How are you so sure? Because Uncle Jeff isn't white. Maybe he's just pale from your know. Putting all the patient's false teeth in a bowl together to soak on a dementia ward. Took us weeks to try and match patients to teeth. No, they weren't marked up with the patient's names. Doubt the right teeth ended up with the right patient. It was guesswork. I know I'm awful for laughing at this, but it reminds me of that time the Pope ordered all the dicks to be cut off the statues in Rome. Fast forward to a few centuries later and a bunch of art historians were running around Rome with a box of dicks trying to restore them. I'm impressed the dicks were kept. Who stored them? That was probably not a part of the Pope's order. Shut down a critical file server, then lied about it, even after he was presented with the logs that showed it was his user account that initiated the shutdown. It's not so much the mistake that he made, but it was when he lied about making the mistake. That was a rookie move. Former head of it at a casino I worked at did the same thing. Not only lied about it but tried to blame it on one of his underlings. The outside consult programmer the casino uses came in to check it out since it was a system he designed. Lo and behold, it was the head of it that did it. Had a meeting with the owner and pretty much said the same thing. Mistakes happen, but trying to throw someone else under the bus about it was the deal breaker. Sacked that day. My co-worker at the bowling alley had to walk down a lane where a group of very young children, maybe 4-8 years old, were bowling to retrieve a ball that had stopped in the gutter about halfway down to the pins. When he had picked up the ball, my other co-worker told him to go walk it back down to the children. However, this guy had it in his mind that it would be best to bowl it back down at the group of small children instead. Luckily, one of the adults with the children was a big muscular guy who was able to stop the ball and pick it up without anybody getting hurt. Edit. A typo. I am both concerned for safety of the children and also laughing my ass off at this cartoonish scene I'm picturing. Emptying hot fryer oil into a plastic container. Guess how that went? Well, this blew up. And yeah, it melted, went everywhere. What a pain to clean that was. Kid got fired. Was making pizza. Guy broke the pizza board. The thing with the handle you make the pizza on and then slide the pizza into the oven. I found the other one and he lost that. So I told him to make pizzas on one of the plastic cutting boards. He put the pizza into the oven on the board and just left it. The board melted, no more pizza that day. How do you lose a pizza board? Those things aren't small. With hard work and dedication, you can do anything. Tried to retrieve his lighter from a deep fat fryer with his hands. Boy, was that fun to clean up. When I worked in restaurants, one of the cooks told me that another cook had dropped his watch into the fat fryer and instinctively plunged his hand into the fryer to retrieve it. The office we worked in was shut down due to COVID and the company went 100% remote. A new senior engineer was hired to work directly with our product team and also manage a team of developers. During our company-wide weekly Zoom meeting, after he was done presenting for the company, he turned his camera off but forgot to put himself on mute. 100+ people heard this man playing Fortnite and talking down about the company to someone else in the background, among other things. He only lasted a month. More like, despite that, he lasted a whole month. The designer, creative director and head of production all missed that there was an 8-day week on a calendar. We sent 10,000 copies of a useless calendar to a client. Rightly so, they refused to pay for it. What day did you all add? Twom's Day? Friday Day? Snunday? When I was in the Navy, this known dumbrous and pathological liar was on armed watch with an M14 patrolling the topside decks. Literally all you have to do is walk around for 4 hours with a rifle on your shoulder. This dude came back to the quarterdeck, main entrance to the ship with no gun. He tried to claim it fell off his shoulder and into the water while tying his shoe. How a rifle would fall off your shoulder, pass through your hands that were tying the shoe, and through all 3 lifelines, like guardrails is still a mystery. My theory is that he was doing drill team stuff, like tossing it spinning in the air, and lost it that way. A guy was using the overhead crane in a machine shop I worked in. It had 2 hooks on it. One was raised right to the roof. The other was lowered and beside another guy's machine. The guy using the crane was looking at the hook by the roof and mobilized the crane. He was wearing earmuffs and the shop is loud enough so when he started almost killing everyone in the line of machines with the other hook he couldn't hear the rest of us screaming. The hook almost threw the first guy into his lathe, hit the next guy's toolboard, flipped over to the side he was on, almost put him into his lathe. Rinse and repeat for the next 3 machines. When it bounced over the last one it grabbed the A-frame that held all the bar stock and started lifting 30-40 of steel off the ground. Someone finally made it to him and slapped the controls out of his hands. That was his last day at that job. As soon as I read crane my ass puckered for a bad time, and you delivered a bad time that could have been worse. Had this new delivery kid at a pizza shop. He would take a fair bit longer than normal to deliver, saying it's easy to get to the street road, but difficult to find the exact house. Turns out he had no concept of odd and even house numbers being on opposite sides of the street. Exceptions apply obviously, and was zigzagging across the road. It's one thing to not know that before starting. It's another to do the job for a couple of hours and not immediately recognize it. Not a mistake necessarily, but I once witnessed our chief accounting officer and our only accountant. It was a small company type in values into 2 Excel cells, pull out a calculator, add the 2 numbers together in the calculator, and then type the answer in a 3rd cell. She had apparently been doing this for years, with sheets consisting of thousands of rows. I explained how to use formulas and copy them, but she apparently forgot because I saw her doing the same thing again months later. Based on my years in tech support, I'm pretty sure she never understood in the first place. Way too many people will agree to anything and everything just to end the conversation when you're trying to teach them something. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more Reddit videos.